Yo, it's another beautiful day to learn something new. Now, today I want to talk to somebody and explain to you why every person you love ends up leaving you. Like kila mtu mwenye mnapendanaga naye, they somehow leave you. Na si ati hutaki kupendwa ama hutaki kuolewa or you don't want to have somebody special in your life. Unataka, and you actually work very hard. You do everything. You give them loyalty, you give them your time, you give them your support. Anything that they want. Uzuri wako na wewe ukipenda wangu umependa and unajitoleanga kabisa, but this other person always ends up leaving you. Sasa imefika mahali umeanza kushangaa, what is wrong with you? Ni kurogwa ama ni Mungu tu anakuchukia ama ni uko na sura mbaya ama shida ni wewe ama shida ni hao watu, and like hiyo kitu inakubother but you don't have answers. You've even tried reaching out to the people you broke up with, at least one kama watakupatia answers for closure, but nobody gives you anything substantive. Na sasa imekuwa ni pattern. It's not just one person, it's like every other person. Wengine hata amfiki hata ile position ya kupendana. It's just somebody who comes into your life, you're interested in this person, the conversation is good, then all of a sudden they just ghost you. They don't tell you why. Nobody has ever given you an idea why. Ukijiangalia uoni kitu yenye unafanya mbaya, but this thing keeps happening over and over and over again. And sasa imefika mali, it's bothering you. Umejaribu kwenda kuombewa, it's still happening. Umejaribu kusema utaki relationships, but somehow you still attract the same guys you're trying to run away from. You've done everything you could, but you have no idea what else to do. And that's why I'm doing this video for you. Now, I'm sure umeambiwa, maybe you're struggling with the spirit of rejection, you need to pray against it, you need to condemn it, you need to bind it. And when people are saying these things, wanakuanga wakikwambia from a good place. It's only that they don't tell you how to do these things and they don't even make you understand what some of these things are. So now, the spirit of rejection is a very stubborn spirit. It's a spirit that is brought about by cycles of abandonment. And this abandonment zinaweza kuwa maybe zilitoka kwa utotoni ama zile experiences umekuwa nazo before, and these cycles have made you to believe that maybe you don't deserve the best. So mtu maybe akikuacha una feel hauna haja kukimbizana na yeye, ama every time you meet somebody good, something inside you just tells you that this person will leave you at some point. So sometimes unakosa kuput effort, or sometimes unajaribu utaki aende juu maybe umempenda, you try and do too much and you end up suffocating them and they leave you. And until you understand that, you will continue getting stuck in this cycle until you break that spirit of rejection. And when it comes to breaking that spirit of rejection, that is where spiritual healing comes into play. Wajua watu wananiulizanga, buni unafanyanga kazi gani? Unakuwaga mchawi, unakuwaga pastor, ama unakuwanga nani? All I do is spiritual healing and transformation. And so I want to show you how you can heal or you can break the spirit of rejection. Now you end up finding somebody to love, you end up being in a relationship that lasts. Ama sometimes unaweza kuwa you've already met somebody who is good for you, but one thing or another led you to the two of you breaking up or room to ghost. And once you break that curse, once you break that spirit of rejection, you can be able to get this other person and end up having a very happy relationship. Uende muoane, pate watoto, mjengane pamoja, mfungue biashara, mjenge home kwenyu, and you end up having a very beautiful relationship. So you go from the person mwenye kila mtu ana reject, mwenye kila mtu anakataa, to that person who has that kind of life that everyone else dreams about. And that's now where spiritual healing comes into play. So when you talk about spiritual healing, you need to understand what spiritual healing is for you to be able to do it. So spiritual healing iko na vitu mbili. Iko na the spiritual aspect of it, na iko na the healing aspect. The spiritual aspect covers three things. Number one, it covers knowing thyself. And once you know yourself, you're able to understand the universe or the world, and you're able to understand God. So to understand yourself or to know yourself is very important, because that's now where you get to understand your 40s. You get to know about thy past. You can look into your past, uone hizi abandonment issues zilitoka wapi? Did it come from family? Were you not affirmed enough? Were your parents distant from you? Did you come up in a family or in a society where you faced a lot of rejection na vitu kama hizo? So you look into your past and you trace where this whole abandonment and rejection started, so that if you are fixing anything, hapo ndo tutaanza kufix. Okay, when we talk about 40s, we look at T number 2, which is thyself. Unaanza kujiangalia ndani. What are the things that you believe? What are the values that you believe? Who are you? Because sometimes ni zile vitu wangu una believe, the composition of your soul, zile vitu una believe, sometimes ndizo wanga zinaleta rejection. Because unaona mtu, unaanza kuona ushadisqualify. Unaanza kuona huyu hawezi nipenda, huyu akae kutulia, huyu si class yangu, huyu hata nikijaribu aje hawezi. Ama unaona mwingine, unaona huyu sasa hawezi niacha. So you go, you suffocate this person and then they leave, because wewe mwenyewe there are few issues that you're not getting right. The other thing is, when you talk about the 3 T's or knowing yourself, we look at thy purpose. Maybe purpose yako na huyu mtu mko na yeye, they are not aligned. Ama wewe mwenyewe uelewi purpose yako. So you are always in places where there's a lot of misalignment. Na kama purpose yako ai-align na wala watu uko nao, either they are going to crush you or they are going to lose you, ama mtakuwa na conflict mingi venye hamwezani. And the last T inakuanga thy path. Ile path yenye unafaa kufuata for you to be able to attain your destiny. Hauko aligned na hiyo path. So wale watu una meet ni distractions. Remember you talked about distractions and vile distractions huiba nyota yako. If you've not watched that video, go check out for this video. Thumbnail yake inakaa hivi, and if you have time, make sure you watch the whole series so that you understand stories za kuibiwa nyota, kurudisha nyota, distractions, what happens and all those things. So hiyo ni part ya knowing yourself. So when you talk about understanding the universe, is to understand how the universe works, and the universe operates on spiritual laws and principles. Okay, so you need to understand how the laws and the principle wanga zina affect relationships. For example, the law of cause and effect. Cause and effect nasema for every cause or for every action or inaction, there's an effect, there's an outcome. So maybe zile vitu zinafanya zina make unapata outcome mbaya. Pia kuna the law of correspondence inasema as within so without. So vile uko ndani yako, the things you believe about yourself, the stories you tell about yourself, they create your own reality and they determine the kind of energy that you radiate to the world. Okay, so unaweza jifix internally and then externally you start attracting the best results. Okay, and then the last part about spirituality is knowing God or whatever divine entity that you're going to believe in, whether it's stars or the truth or trees, it doesn't matter. And now knowing God, because I'm a Christian, God is what I know. So let me explain to you from a perspective of knowing God. Once you know God and you read the Bible, it tells you what God expects of you, what you need to do, and when you align yourself with God's will, God atakusaidia the right person. Or you're going to find yourself in a situation or in a position where you're able to surround yourself with the right people and attract the right people. So that's how you end up attracting the right people. Okay? The second part of spiritual healing, nimekuambia ina involve healing. So healing nayo, healing has 3 steps, what we call the ABCs of healing. Number 1, you have to acknowledge, you have to understand kuna shida na suffer na rejection. So hii spirit ya rejection inatoka wapi? Because behind everything, behind every problem, there's a spirit. Okay, you need to understand that spirit, and behind every spirit there's a healing. Kila spirit inahiliwa kivyake. So lazima kwanza understand, you start to become aware, what spirit are you battling, what problem are you really fixing. Sometimes naonanga watu ukishaona uko na rejection, unaanza kukimbia kuombewa, unakimbia kwa milima, unakimbia kwa waganga, sijui unaenda kutolea wazee mbuzi, and yet you do not understand the spirit that you're dealing with. How did it come into your life? Ilichukua nyota yako aje? How did it delay or deny your destiny? You don't even understand the distractions it caused. So sometimes tunaanza kuona unaombewa, maombi ifanyi kazi. Unaanza kufikiria maybe ni huo pastor ama ana imani ama naona imani. So you end up going to 10 pastors, 5 witch doctors, wazee, and nothing happens. Just because you didn't take your time to first of all acknowledge or understand the problem that you're having. Once you understand the problem that you're having, you go to the B of healing, and that is begin healing. Every spirit has a way it's healed. Kuna zile spirit zinahiliwa haraka, kuna zile zinatolewa kama mapepo, kuna zile lazima ufanye alignment kidogo. So you have to know what exactly it is that you're dealing with. And that's why when you come to me, I will tell you we do something called a spiritual audit or a reading. So we first look into you see what the problem is. Na nikiambia watu wengi hivi sometimes wanaonanga ni kama najaribu kucomplicate mambo. But the reason is if you do not understand what exactly you're dealing with, it will be very hard to heal it. So you have to first acknowledge the problem, understand what the problem is, so that ikikuja ni time ya healing, unajua hiyo spirit behind that problem. How do you heal it? So you heal things from the root cause. Get? And then now once you heal, unaenda kwa the C. Tulisema the ABCs of healing. So the C is calibration and elevation. So calibration means una readjust. Yes, umekuwa na a lot of rejection. What has been happening? So what is it that you need to stop doing? What is it that you need to start doing? How do you go about it? Hiyo sasa ndo calibration. Sasa tunakufocus vizuri, tunakuwekelea kwa line vizuri so that you're able to elevate. Sasa elevate ni kuenda ukiendaga. So you have to first understand yourself, understand how the world works, understand God, so that you can be able to know what is the problem. You acknowledge the problem so that you can begin healing. That's healing the problem or the spirit behind the problem. And once you've healed, you can now calibrate and elevate. You can readjust, drop what is supposed to be dropped, add what you're supposed to add. And ukifanya hivyo, utakam kurealize hiyo shida hata ikuanga kubwa venye ilikuwa inafikiria. Na si ati hizo maombi unaomba ndizo mbaya, but sasa umejaribu kuombewa imekataa, umetoa sadaka imekataa, umeenda conference zote za singles imekataa, umepatiwa advice yote zimekataa. It's now just trying to do things differently. Na si ati uko na kasoro ama uko na shida mwezi saidika. It's just that you do not understand the root cause of your problem. You do not understand the spirits that you're against and how to fight those spirits. But now the moment you come and we look into your problems, we do a spiritual audit, we do what we call a reading, tunaangalia, for example, hivyo venye nimekuambia knowing thyself, tunaangalia vitu kama your 40s, tunaangalia past yako, tunaona penye shida ilikuwa, tunaangalia we ni nani, tunaangalia conflict ziko wapi. Once we come up with a problem, it now becomes very easy. And now kwa hiyo solution, sasa solution ndio inakwambianga what you need to do. This is a spirit you're dealing with and this is how you need to do to fix that problem. So kama ni maombi, tunapanga tutaomba hivi. Kama ni kukuwekelea mikono, tunapanga vile tutakuwekelea mikono. Kama ni sijui tukupatie chumvi, tutajua vile tutakupatia chumvi na vile tutakupatia chumvi ya kufanya kazi gani. So wewe unaendaga tu kuombea, unaanza kupoa mafuta, unapoa kitambaa, mara unapoa sijui nini, alafu hizo vitu zinakosa kuwork just because you guys didn't find the root of your problem. And sometimes it pastor mbaya ama ni ule mzee umeenda kupelekea mbuzi mbaya. Sometimes it's just anadili na watu wengi and they don't have enough time to move to you personally. And to deal with somebody at a personal level, it's a bit usually expensive. Sometimes hata mimi kuja kwangu nitakupea rate card uone kama ni expensive. But tukisha focus na wewe, tujue shida iko wapi. Tuangalie what spirit are we dealing with, who are you, where is the misalignment, and then we realign you. Remember, healing is all about realignment. Once tume-align vizuri, and now we've taken all the noise and all the conflict, it works. So vitu kama maji, mafuta, chumvi, hizo zinaitagwa spiritual tools. Hizo unazitumianga kusaidia mtu kurealign. And it's hard to realign kama uelewi shida yako ni gani. So hata nikikupatia chumvi inaweza kosa kukusaidia. Hata nikikuombea inaweza kosa kukusaidia until you understand what the problem is, you understand how things operate, you understand about alignment, so that sasa tukikurudisha alignment, hata ukiendelea uko mbele, you're not going to go back to that same problem. Na hiyo ndio tunasemanga kukurudishia nyota. Na tukikurudishia nyota, tuna make sure hiyo nyota haitaibiwa tena. And that means we actually talked about kurudisha nyota kuibiwa nyota and what it means. So go watch that series yenye nimekuwekea hapo hivyo, yenye nimekwambia watch, ndio learn nikisema kurudisha nyota, kufanya nyota, everything what I'm talking about. Yeah, and that's it. So one of the reasons why everybody you love ends up leaving you is what we call the spirit of rejection, and that is a stronghold that has been brought about by patterns of abandonment, trauma, and all these things, probably from your past experiences, maybe as a child or as an adult, or the environment that you've grown into. The best way to do, or the best way to fix that problem, is to first understand what the problem is, to understand what spirits are behind that problem, where are you misaligned, so that we can first work on that spirit, we work on realigning you, and then we calibrate you to make sure to make kwa line yenye you are able to attract the right people, and the people, even if you give them love, they are able to receive that love, appreciate it, and reciprocate it.